So I'm working on this movie that's going to be coming out in a while, and just to get a rough idea of things, I'm making this mock-up where I'm taking clips from other movies and putting them in a timeline, just to get a rough idea of what it will look like when I make my movie. And I want to have this one scene where I do a Spider-Man 3 newspaper trick, where I have the newspaper covering the screen and it moving around. And after making this effect before and going back to the Spider-Man 3 scene, I realized it doesn't look exactly how I remembered it, but I'm still calling this a Spider-Man 3 newspaper trick. I don't know, why not? It looks cool. Anyway, let me show you what we're doing here. So basically, the effect is going to look something like this. Okay, so what you gotta do, you gotta take any clip you want to freeze and make it to a newspaper. You gotta take that and put it in your timeline. Then let's find the part that we want to freeze. Okay, so this is about where I had it in the finished product. So you can cut this and then save the current frame. Now you could just add a freeze frame here, but I just kind of find this a lot easier because freeze frames can be weird sometimes. So yeah, then you just take that and put it right where we cut it. Then you should get something that looks like this, where it would freeze like that. And again, we could just use a freeze frame, but freeze frames are kind of weird sometimes. So yeah, let's just do it this way. Anyway, so what we have to do, click on the clip, go up here and crop it. And you probably don't have to do this if your clip is already 16:9, or in other words, fills the whole screen. But since mine is 21:9, or since it doesn't fill up the whole screen, then we gotta crop it to about where it does fill up the whole screen. So like this. And I mean, I guess you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I kind of find it a bit cooler when you do. But yeah, you don't have to do this if you really don't want to. But yeah, then you should get something that looks like this. So click on the clip again, and click over here to add a filter. I like flashback. I think it kind of fits the whole like newspaper thing because that's what we're doing here. And then you get something that looks like this. And then what you do is you gotta save this image. Save that. Open your web browser, and to make things easier, I just look up Spider-Man newspaper. You could make your own newspaper, but that would just take a while. And also, I just want this to be like a rough idea of what everything's going to look like, so I don't want to spend the time making a newspaper that I'm not even going to use for the finished product. So, yeah, I'll make my own newspaper when I actually make the movie. But since we're not doing that right now, I'm just okay with using a Spider-Man newspaper background. Okay, so find one you like, make sure it's a high quality one like this, and not one where it just looks something like this, because that's just, it's not gonna look that great. So find a high quality one, like a good one, and I know this has a watermark on it, but we're gonna be covering most of that anyway. And again, this isn't gonna be my finished product, and if you're making your own thing, you're probably gonna be making your own newspaper. So yeah, I forget the watermark. And also, if you want to make your own newspaper, you can probably just look up like newspaper template and then put text and pictures in there. Okay, now look up this site called Canva, and it should bring you to this site. This is actually the same site we used in the last video. I probably should have mentioned that. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, this is totally free. You might need to make an account. Okay, now what you do is drag your file over the project to import it into the project, and there we go. We got the newspaper. Now you take the freeze frame with the filter, and you can zoom in for this. Yeah, line up with the edges the best you can. As you can see, this doesn't fill up the whole of the picture because we've still got this little chunk on the top. So what you gotta do is you gotta center this. Then once that looks centered, you gotta go to Elements, use the square. We can make it black. I mean, really, you could make it any color you want. But I'm just going to use black. Okay, and then you line this one up with the background. Not just the freeze frame, but like the whole background. You can leave this white part in though. Then you just got to crop this and make it fit the frame like that. And there we go. But now we can't see the freeze frame. So you got to click on it, click position, backward. There you go. Now we got our newspaper. Now you click share, download. Then we take this project in iMovie, and you export the file. And really, if you wanted to, you could have done all the iMovie stuff in Filmora, but I find iMovie easier, so we're using iMovie for the beginning. But if you don't have iMovie and you just have Filmora, you could have done this whole thing in here. What you can't do, though, is you can't do this whole thing in iMovie. That's not going to work. Doesn't iMovie have a weird keyframing thing? But I don't know. It doesn't work. Haven't learned it. So we're going to be using Filmora. So what you do is you take the clip that you just exported, okay, match to media. Okay, around here is where it froze, but you can just give it a few seconds just to let the scene sink in. I mean, you don't have to, but I like to. Okay, and then we cut that. Now you take your newspaper clip and put this in the timeline, and we got to crop it too because we don't want it looking like this. Do something like this. Oh yeah, you got to click custom too. There you go. Now it looks like this. And well, I mean, if you wanted like more precise cropping, you could, if you have a Mac. You can just open the file, open the picture, do something like this, and then go all the way down to the pixel, which is how I do it, but I don't know if all of you have a Mac. If you have a PC, then yeah, just do it in Filmora, but if you have a Mac, you can go all the way down to the pixel, and then go up here and crop where you want. That side doesn't crop. But yeah, so if you have a Mac, I'd say do this just because it's more precise. But if you don't, that's fine. So now you click, you go in the crop again, you go to pan and zoom this time. And just try and do it the best you can. And then you got to get one of these pan and zoom boxes to fill out the whole of the freeze frame. And then see how it says end and start. Yeah, so that means it would be going up from here down there, but that's not what you want. So you click this over here, and it's gonna flip it, and then it'll start here and end here. But see, that's also cut off, so you can drag that down a little bit. And if you really wanted to, you could do something like this. Then it would just show the whole thing, but I don't really want to do that right now. So, yeah, we can just do something like this. I have done that before, and to get rid of these background things, all you have to do is just go onto this site called remove.bg, and it will take the backgrounds out for you, and then it will look fine. Then we click OK, and we should get something like this. And see, it's kind of slow. So what you got to do is you got to just, like, make that clip a lot shorter. And it does something like this. But see, it kind of ends, like, very abruptly. So we just gotta pause on the end of the freeze frame, or the end of the frame, and then go over here, click snapshot, and then drag that at the end, and then it's basically like another freeze frame. And there you go. Now I kind of find this one a bit too fast, so we're gonna make the clip longer to slow it down, and then you get something like that. Then for that last little bit, you can cut this stuff out. Again, just give it some time to take in the shot. Then we take whatever clip we want, and what you can do here is that you cut that. You cut the top of the newspaper, click on the newspaper, then it should bring you to video. Click animation, it should be a preset, so you click customize, and then add keyframe. Then you go to like somewhere later in the clip, you can adjust this later, and then you click on the clip on the actual video itself, and then you bring it to whatever side you want, and it should already add a keyframe for you, and then you get something like this. And there we go, we got our swanky Spider-Man 3 newspaper scene. And then you can just add whatever song you want in the back of this. But this does look a bit long here. It kind of lingers for a while. So what you got to do is you just have to shorten that down, and you should get something that looks like this. There you go. It doesn't last long. And then in this thing that I made here, I used a different shot, and I just did the same process. And as you can see, I took out the backgrounds because they're black. And then I had it move to the side. All you have to do, again, is just keyframe it like we did with this part right here. And then you should get it to move to the side. And then I just cut from that to this clip that already had a moving shot. And then it plays whatever clip you want. And then all you got to do is just reverse it, and then it can go back to whatever clip you had playing before. So that's good if you want to do something like that. It goes back into place. And yeah, that's another thing you can do. For now, this is like the main thing, how you do it. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope you found this useful. Maybe you can use it in like a movie you're making. And yeah, I'll see you later. Hey, if you've been watching this video, that probably means you're making some videos of your own. And if you want to learn how to change the color of old thumbnails that you've already published to YouTube, then click on this video right here.